Welcome everybody to our Mother's House annual fundraiser. Do you know that this is the 20th annual fundraiser for this program? But it's the very first one that we've ever done virtually. It's been a tough year for everybody, and we've all had to make changes and modifications. And so this year is different than every year before. Exactly 1 year ago, I stood in front of 350 people, and I made my opening speech. Very different this year, but I hope that you're watching us. I hope that we're going to give you a good program, an interesting program, and one that you'll care about and continue to support us on. Tonight was made possible through our benefactors, through the supporters, through our many, many, many sponsors, and we're so lucky to have them. And I'd like to mention two in particular. So Lynn and Robert Keller have been underwriting this event for 10 years now. And even though they knew that this year was going to be different, they went ahead and underwrote us again. And they did it really early in the process, giving us the wherewithal and the strength and the courage to go ahead and do something differently and give you tonight, which is different. Also, I'd like to mention the Picazios, Stephen and Redenta Picazio. Later on in the program, you'll actually be hearing from Stephen. And they put forth a match for tonight, giving us, again, the ability to go forward with this program. It's very, very different. We're used to having a big auction floor full of auction items that everybody wandered around, and we're used to having our wine tasting, and then we're having our cold to heart. Well, different, different, different. My staff and everybody around me that I've been working with got tired of hearing me say, I don't understand. I don't know what to do. I don't get how this works. Well, with a lot of help and a lot of support, we think we've put it all together, and we hope you're going to enjoy it. I'd like to point out one thing that's a little bit different, and that's the bidding for the auctions. I have a special helper, and I'd like to introduce you all to Grace. When I first met Grace, she was 2 years old, and she and her mom came to live at our mother's house. That was a long time ago. Grace is now
15.
15.
Just turned.
And she's a freshman in high school, and she's getting ready to get her driver's permit.
Yes.
And moving forward and having a great life, she and her mom. And you'll get to meet her mom, again, later in the program. So hold up the poster for me. One of the hard things about tonight is that you needed two different instruments to make it work. You're watching us on YouTube or Facebook, but in order to bid, you had to go to yet another instrument, probably your phone or your computer. So if you went into your computer to bid on one of our very good auction items, you came to a screen that looked like this. We sent you the various addresses. See, I'm still learning this. We sent you the addresses so that you could go in and bid. You'd end up with a screen that looked like this. The Get Started button will let you register. In order to register, you can look all you want, but if you find something you want to bid on, then you have to register and give them your credit card. We've been using the same site for credit cards for years. It's very, very safe. Once your credit card is in, you can pick your item and go ahead and bid. You also have the option to go ahead and just send us a donation. Again, you have to have registered, you click the button, and you move forward. Okay? Any questions? I think running along my bottom here, or is a ribbon with phone numbers? Right? Yes? They're telling me yes. Okay, so running along my bottom is a ribbon with phone numbers. You can call and make a bid over the phone if that is more comfortable for you, or you can call and ask questions if you just can't figure out how to make that bid happen. So again, I thank you all for being here tonight. I hope you enjoy tonight's program. Thank you. Thanks a bunch, Grace.
Thank you.
I now have the opportunity to introduce the Bishop of the Diocese of Venice, and he's coming to you via video. He wasn't able to join us live tonight, but he has some great things to say, so thank you.
On behalf of the Diocese of Venice and Catholic Charities, I'm pleased to welcome you all to our Mother's House 2021 virtual fundraiser. 2020 was a challenging year for us all, really, and despite the comfort and the blessings our Lord has provided, we find ourselves in a dilemma. However, throughout, our Mother's House has been providing programming, education services, and above all, compassion and love to the mothers and children within their program. Early on, they did so through phone calls and video conferencing, but as soon as they were safely able to do so, staff returned to the site so as to ensure that they were providing the best quality of service possible. We hope and pray that the new year will prove to be more positive, really for us all. Our Mother's House has been providing services now for 34 years. In that time, over 600 women and their children have passed through their doors. That's over 1,200 individuals who were given a second chance, a chance to change the course of their lives and to ensure them of a better future. Our Mother's House accomplishes this good work because they have your support. As you participate in tonight's interactive event, I pray that you will continue that essential support and give generously. Thank you. May God bless each of you for your generosity to our Mother's House. Have a pleasant evening.
This year we had over 44 sponsors for our event. Many of our sponsors came to us over the years and have come back year after year after year. And their sponsorship makes sure that our program keeps going. I'm now joined by Philomena Pierra. She is the CEO of Catholic Charities and has agreed to be here live. So thank you, Philomena.
Why, thank you.
And we're going to take these lovely stools and talk for a few minutes.
Thanks for having me. It's been truly a wonderful experience to be in person at our wine tasting. But, you know, things are always different, so I'm so happy to be here. Joyce, Catholic Charities, our Mother's House, has served hundreds of moms and babies. When did this wonderful program begin?
The program is 34 years old now, and in that time has served well over 600 families.
Wow.
So it's
That's
actually
amazing.
been in the Venice area for about 32 years.
Wow. Can you tell me where do you get your funding for this particular program? Do you get government funding?
We receive no government funding. All of our funding is from individual support. We get some very little community grants,
Right.
but other than that, it is all community support that keeps us going. Individual donations, and this event is a very big deal for us.
So tonight, we really need everyone to help us out, I would think.
We do,
right?
we do.
So can you tell me, our Mother's House, you've got moms and babies. What are some of the most biggest expenses you have that you're going to need to deal with as the time goes on?
Each of the mothers who comes to our Mother's House is coming in because she has nowhere else to go. Things have not gone well for her. There are issues in her life that she needs to address. So counseling is a very big deal. We have each of our moms participate in mental health counseling. Our other very big expense is housing. We have 22 apartments.
Wow.
That means that we have 22 toilets for the babies to throw things down. And we have 22 air conditioners to break, and ovens and refrigerators, and washing machines and dryers. We have roofs on 4 different complexes. Maintenance issues are very, very high, and the Florida weather doesn't help. Things rust out faster, things get old faster, And so it's a huge expense for us.
With hundreds of people living in the units, I'm assuming that there's, lots of turnover, and every time somebody comes in, and like you said, the babies can dump things into the toilet and you'd never know. So I hope, people do understand that living in one of our units or one of the units is pretty costly. So we do need help tonight, particularly in order to be able to help with all of those particular facility needs that you have. Can you also tell me, we talked a little bit about mental health.
Right.
So you've got moms and babies. How do you see mental health being a need and then being the part of the recovery?
Coming to the program, so many of our families have already had a chaotic life, and that impacts not only the mom but the baby as well. One of the primary things that our program does is classes with the mothers. We have one we're getting ready to start that we actually call Infant Toddler Mental Health. And it's helping those moms and the babies and the interaction between them to move forward with their lives, to address the issues that brought them to the program in the first place.
Are you doing just traditional counseling, one-on-one counseling, or are you looking at a variety of different types of counseling?
We do one-on-one counseling. We have counselors that come in and work with the mothers and the babies.
Sure.
And we do life skills classes where the counselors are talking to groups.
Okay. What else can you share with us about Our Mother's House? What makes you want to work at Our Mother's House?
Our Mother's House is about the future. It's getting past the past and moving into a future. And every day as we all come to work and every day as the mothers address each new day, it's that opportunity to have a future.
That's wonderful.
My final question to you is the funding that we received tonight, where will that go?
It goes directly to Our Mother's House to take care of all of the moms and all of those babies that we serve every single day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
When I opened up tonight's program, I mentioned Stephen and Redenta Picasio. Stephen graciously agreed to do a video for us to tell us why he and Redenta provided a match for tonight's event. And we're going to show that to you now.
My name is Steve Picasio, and my wife Redenta and I have offered to match the dollars raised during the virtual fundraiser so that the pandemic does not cause the services of Our Mother's House not to be able to be offered in the future. We have offered to match up to $125,000 of dollars contributed. So remember, when you make your contribution, it will double, and that will go a long way in allowing Our Mother's House to provide the services it has in the past ongoing. Thank you.
At this time, I'm so pleased to introduce Miranda. Miranda is a mother currently in the program. Her story's a tough story, but she's agreed to share it with us, and we're so pleased that she's agreed to do so. She's a little bit nervous, so she's going to be reading. So, Miranda, okay. I see that black mark. Okay.
My name is Miranda. I am 30 years old. I am from Delaware County, Pennsylvania. I grew up in a family that struggled with drugs and alcohol. My dad is a heroin addict. And my dad was a heroin addict and was abusive, and my mom would drink to deal with my dad. I did not do well in school. and I was picked on because of how I dressed or I didn't fit in. After I turned 11, my mom left my dad and got a new boyfriend. Soon after that, I was sent to a group home. My mom was diagnosed with cancer, and I went home. She passed away a few weeks later. Children Youth Services was involved. My brothers and I lived apart, and a friend of my mom let me stay with her. But I really stayed and spent my time with a boyfriend who was older than I was. In 2010, I had a baby girl, and I had a baby girl with him, and he was abusive, and eventually I ran. He found us. He put me and a close friend of mine in the hospital. He was caught and sentenced to 7 years. I was homeless, and soon after, I was addicted to heroin. My little girl was adopted, and I continued to use and go in and out of jail until 2016. I met another man. He helped me find a maintenance program, and I was able to get clean. And in 2017, we moved to Venice. Everything was okay until 2019, when I became pregnant. When I was 8 months pregnant, my son's father began taking pills, and out of fear, I did my best to ignore it and hoped when our son was born he would stop. He did not. And one day, I packed a diaper bag and I left. I couldn't allow my past to repeat itself. I had no clue what to do or where to go. I found a coworker who was willing to help for a few days, but I had to find somewhere safe for my son. Another coworker told me about our mother's house. I applied that day. My interview was a few days later, and I knew that getting accepted here was my only hope for a future with my son. I have some tissues. I applied that day. My interview was a few days later, and I knew that getting accepted here was my only hope for a future with my son. I was honest, and I was in tears most of the interview, and after, I just kept praying and watching my phone. When I received that call, a huge weight came off of me. I moved in almost immediately, and my son and I were welcomed here. We were wanted here. We were cared about. We were supported. My caseworker helped me prepare for and take, and I also passed 3 sections of my GED. I have learned how to drive. I have my license. I am enrolled in class online for GED. I am learning how to deal with my past and how to deal with my feelings. I am almost completely off of the maintenance program, and I came here 7 months ago, and I've been able to accomplish more than I have in my life. I have options to go to school and eventually a career that could bring my son and I out of poverty. I started a savings account, and my goal is to eventually buy a home. Our mother's house helped me completely change the direction and outcome of my future. And that gave my son a safe and happy home. He loves going to daycare, and we come home When we come home, we are both at peace in our routine, and we're extremely happy and grateful here every day.
Thank you, Miranda. Thank you very, very much. You can help the mothers like Miranda. You can, if you find it in your heart, help a mother stay at our mother's house. So this is our call to the heart. Can you find it in your heart to help the moms like Miranda? $5,850 helps the family stay in the program for 3 months. Helps them learn the area, get oriented, settle down, be safe for the first time perhaps in a very long time. Your funding can help a mother get on her feet and start the road towards self-sufficiency. Thank you, Miranda. I'm joined now by 2 former mothers of our mother's house, Tiffany and Debbie. Thank you both for joining me tonight. We really appreciate your coming in.
You're so welcome.
So will you tell us a little bit about when were you at our mother's house, Tiffany?
I was at our mother's house from 2013 to 2015.
And you have a daughter.
Little girl, yes,
How
Jezebella.
old was she when you first came in?
She was 6 months old,
And she's now?
going to be 9 in May.
Wow. And Debbie?
I was here from 2008 till 2010 with my beautiful daughter, Grace,
Who
was
we met
2.
before.
Was 2 when we came, and we moved out when she was 4.
Okay. And what brought you to our mother's house, Debbie?
Like most of the mothers, I was in crisis. I had a good job, but I couldn't find affordable housing in Venice. I moved to Inglewood, where the rent was cheap, but when my car broke down and I needed a $1,500 transmission, I didn't have it. And I didn't know that in Inglewood there were no buses or cabs to get to work. So I couldn't keep this great job. And like most people, I was a paycheck away from homelessness. And I was facing eviction. I had found a job within walking distance in Inglewood, but with training and waiting 2 weeks for a paycheck, there was no way for me to catch up. I was absolutely defeated, and I was looking at sleeping in my car with my daughter when I made the phone call to our mother's house. And thank God that I didn't have to think about sleeping in my car with my daughter for very long, because 3 days later, I got the call that I was accepted and welcomed and glad to be here.
Tiffany, will you share?
Yes, I was in an unsafe relationship, and that's all I knew growing up. That was normal. Till a friend of mine had said, that's not normal. It's time to make a change. And the more I contemplated and I researched our mother's house, I decided it was time to break the chains of my childhood and to do that for my daughter. So I applied to our mother's house, and they had contacted us, and we were able to be accepted into the program with open arms and have a safe environment to live in and to flourish.
How did you use your time at the program?
I was blessed that I was able to start my way from the bottom up. I was able to take a home health course and a CNA course. Our mother's house took care of paying for the CNA test. From there, I found a medical assistant program in Lakewood Ranch 3 times a week. So I was able to go to school, work part-time, and I completed that medical assistant program, and our mother's house paid for the actual exam so that I could become registered. I then found a full-time job, Monday through Friday, no nights, no weekends, and was able to have a set income, and I was able to get off of government assistance. I have never been on government assistance since I have left our mother's house, so that has been the biggest accomplishment there.
And Debbie, how did you use your time? Because it's very different what you both did.
It's It was hard to start from the bottom up. I had to start with transportation, as that was my initial problem. I remember getting a bicycle from the little bicycle shop on the island. She sold me, I went in with $20, and I was just looking for prices to see how much I needed for a bicycle with a baby seat on the back. I had $20 and a $20 Publix gift card in my pocket, and she sold me that bicycle with the child seat on the back for $20 and a $20 gift certificate. And I got a job, and I found daycare, and then I got a reliable car. When I got my income tax check, I saved my money and I bought a reliable car. And the first job I took wasn't a job that was going to sustain me, so I found a better job and a job that I could keep, and worked with my daycare. I had Sundays off. I didn't have to be there till 8 because daycares are only so early, and I was done at 3 or 4, so that worked. So I found a job, and then the next step was I took advantage of the life skills courses. I started improving my credit. My credit was 350 when I started, but I had gotten to work on it, and there was things there that shouldn't have been there, and they taught me how to get them removed. And next thing I knew was I was just applying for a house for Habitat for Humanity, and they had given me the confidence to do that, because I would have thought, oh, well, never qualify for that or whatever, but they gave me the courage and the confidence. They said, go for it, Deb. And so I was like, okay. And the next thing you knew, I was approved for a house from Habitat for Humanity and working on my 300 hours of sweat equity and my $2,500 down payment. And when I left our mother's house, I moved straight into that house, and I have been there ever since.
Fantastic. What would you say to a mother who's having problems, who's in trouble, who needs a program? What would you say to a mother like that?
It's not too late to make a change. Your past doesn't define your future, and you can do different than your parents did, or your choices from the past. So you just have to ask for help, and there are many people in this area who are very generous. They care, and they just want to find someone to help. So it's just asking for help.
Anything to add to that, Debbie?
I would tell them to take advantage of the program, and I would tell them that it's a wonderful place, it's a safe place. I was so defeated and alone when I got here, and I felt so welcomed and so safe, and the stress came off of me. And it's just a great, wonderful place to be initially, and then just everything you can learn, and to get to the point where you can make it on your own, where you can be a single mother in this world and afford the rent and the daycare. You've got to have reliable transportation. You've got to have affordable daycare. You've got to have affordable housing. And I would tell them that they can help you get these things. They can help you, and they give you the time, and take the time you need, and take the counseling, and learn everything you can, because they really care, and they really helped me a lot. And it's the best thing you could ever do for your future and for your child.
Anything else you'd like to share? Anything else I should have asked?
I would like to say thank you. 11 years later, I think about the generosity of the people in this community every day, because I owe my life to them. Initially, I would say that I'm grateful for all the material things that I've gained from having extra money left over in the budget every month because of affordable daycare and because of affordable housing. I've been able to provide braces and a prepaid college fund for my daughter, and renovate my home, and buy seasons passes to all the major theme parks. But those are just material things. In the big picture, the generosity and the kindness and the compassion that I received from the community being at our mother's house gave me something that was absolutely priceless. It gave me hope. I was so defeated, and I've had hope from the day I walked in this door. And they taught me to say yes when God put something on your heart, to say yes, because that's what they did. And my life wouldn't be possible if you hadn't given, if you hadn't donated, if you hadn't volunteered. And so my daughter and I both learned that when God puts something on our heart, to say yes, even if it's just little things like volunteering in the nursery or putting up flags and wreaths at Sarasota National, coming here tonight to speak. You taught us to say yes when God put something on our heart, and we thank you for the hope that you've given us and for the generosity and for the lesson of giving that we received while we were here at our mother's house.
Thank you, Debbie. You go.
I've been with the company medical assistant for 6 years now. And it's the same job that I got from our mother's house. And to work Monday through Friday and to be able to spend time with my daughter, not have to worry about childcare. I just have a solid foundation that I can go to any job, anywhere. And thank you for taking a chance on me, and a chance for a hopeful future for me and my daughter. So thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you both for being here tonight, for sharing your story. The call to the heart continues. $3,900 houses a family like Debbie's, like Tiffany's, for 2 months. 2 months gives her the time to get to know her caseworker, get to start counseling, start the programming, get settled, for the child to get settled in daycare. $3,900 would mean so much. If you can help us out, please do so. It's very simple. The buttons to participate in the call to the heart are on the same screen as the bidding for the auction items. Just push the button and it will take you right through it. Thank you.
I've had women go from not knowing how to hold their baby, hold the baby clothes or how to feed them, to them being amazing moms. We've had women come in here who have come from nothing, from being on the streets or in cars, leaving, owning homes. We've had quite a few that now are proud homeowners through the Habitat for Humanities. We've seen them go from having to walk or take a bike to owning their own car, to getting better jobs. I have gone to a college graduation for one of my former moms, so just seeing how they have progressed, to see from the way they are when they walked into our program to when they leave 2 years later is amazing. Seeing the children grow up, and through the Children's First program that we have here with our child care, those children are every bit as ready to enter school and have all the skills and that they need to when they enter.
Our third level of the call to the heart is about counseling. So many of our moms come to us with long-standing and pervasive issues that must be addressed before they can go forward with their lives. $1,170 will cover up to 10 sessions of counseling. We'll help our moms address these long-standing issues. For some, it's just the beginning. For others, it's something that can continue as they go forward. Counseling makes a big difference. Opening up and finally addressing those issues makes a huge difference. Please consider $1,170 will pay for 10 counseling sessions. Thank you.
My name is Charlotte Senko, and I'm a caseworker at our mother's house. It is one of the best jobs I've had in my life. I have 9 girls that I case manage here. They come from all different backgrounds, and my role here is a caseworker, but also they look at me as a grandma, a mom, an aunt, just somebody to bond with. My role as a caseworker here is to go in once a week to the mom's home to make sure they're meeting their goals. We talk about housing, we talk about their schooling. We want to make them self-sufficient by the time they leave us in 2 years.
I really miss having the big room and all the people in it when we do this, kind of makes it fun to have the paddles going up and watching all of that happen. But it's this year. So our fourth level for Call to the Heart is $534. $534 will help us provide life skills classes for the moms. We do all sorts of life skills classes. We do parenting classes. We do cooking classes. We do mental health classes. We do how to change a tire classes. We do whatever kind of class we can think of that will help our moms get on their feet and be self-sufficient so that when something goes wrong, they can take care of it for themselves. $534 for life skills classes. Thank you.
So this was a saving grace. It was a good option, and through the donations, the caseworker and the apartment and all the support, it's really helped me. I couldn't do this on my own. And I'm so grateful for it, for all the help and support, especially the donations, because diapers and wipes alone are so expensive. And to have that support, it's helping me save for my future, for her future.
Before I give you our final level for Call to the Heart, I'd like to remind you that you can call in your donation if you're more comfortable doing that. I believe the cameras are showing off our lovely ladies over here who are waiting to take your call. You can call in at any level, even though I'm on level 5. If you want to call in for level 1, that'd be good. You can call in at any level, and if these levels aren't comfortable for you, you can go higher or lower just by pushing that button. And so our final level of the Call to the Heart is $150. $150 is supplies. We have a lot of babies. At a minimum, we have 22 babies at a time, but if a couple of moms have more than one baby, we could have 22, 24, 25 babies, and they use a lot of diapers. And for some reason, we keep running out of diapers. So, supplies, diapers, laundry detergent, lots of laundry with a baby in the house, cleaning supplies. We're all trying to keep our houses, our homes, as clean as possible. We're using those antibacterial wipes. $150 helps us ensure that our moms have what they need to have a safe environment. Thank you. Okay, so I promised a 45-minute event, and we're right at our 45 minutes. And so I'm going to use my last few seconds to say thank you to everyone who made tonight happen. And I'd like you to all join me, if you would. So I have my ladies who are answering the phones, and our CEO, and the mommies, and I have Grace over there, and we have MediaMark. MediaMark did all the video for us. As I told you in the beginning, my mantra was, I don't understand. And they kept me calm, and they kept saying, it's going to work, Joyce, don't worry about it, it's going to be okay. And I think they're right. So come on up, everybody, so that we can say thank you together. We can't do what we do without your support. I tend to be the face of our Mother's House, but I can't do what I do without the support of the staff and the agency. And so let's all crowd in a little bit, and MediaMark as well, just so that we can all say thank you to you. Thank you for being part of it. Thank you for being here tonight. We really, really appreciate your support. It does make a difference. So come on in. That's it. Okay. So we have our mommies, we have our staff, we have the volunteers back here. Media Mark, this is Gina, she's the president of Media Mark. Where's Shaq? Our producer Shaq, who's staying behind the camera apparently. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you're having a party with some people and you've watched us as a group, please send us your pictures. We really miss seeing everybody. So we'd love to see you. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye. Blessings.